And this drop bombs too.
Oh, absolutely. The Bombay door's open,
Okay.
and it's about 6 foot, and there's a catwalk that's about that wide. And I used to sit on that catwalk and knock the bombs out if they didn't go. I had a little crowbar, and I just pop them off the wall, and they would go.
If you weren't careful, you go down with the bombs, right?
Well, I had my legs wrapped around the bomb, around the catwalk, and I had a walk-around bottle to feed me oxygen.
You weren't, in other words, you didn't have a strap or a harness so that you could not fall.
Oh, no.
You were on your own.
On your own out there.
Wow.
But you had to have a walk-around bottle, and if I meet another flight engineer and I ask him, did you ever have to kick the bombs out? If he said no, that's fine. But if he said yes, I ask him, what did you have to do? And then he's stumped. He don't know what. And then I know he's a phony. And believe me, I meet him with ribbons and everything.
Yeah.
And I say to the guy, oh, you were in the Air Force? Yeah. And then he tells me about it, and I can tell right away whether he's
a phony or not.
Right. No, you'd be surprised. Over the years that I've been coming out here, I have had, I would say, maybe 6 in all the years I came out here that were absolutely phonies. And when he tells me he don't remember, I just walk away from him because I know he's baloney.
How many gallons of fuel? Forget that. An hour.
Yeah, really.
It'll suck up about 50 gallons an hour. And another thing.
It's not too bad, really.
No, but, well, there's 37 gallons of oil for this engine. And when the mission is over, then you have to refill it. Because this is a Wright engine, and it burns oil. If you're over here this afternoon when they start to fly this thing, they crank up the engine. First, they walk through that propeller 9 times.
Lubricated?
No. They get the oil out of the bottom cylinder. It's a 9-cylinder, and the bottom cylinder is like this, and all the oil runs down into that bottom cylinder. And if you don't crank it around by hand 9 times, there's oil in that bottom cylinder. And if you hit the switch, piston comes down, and you get what they call a hydraulic lock. And nobody's going to move that engine. Nobody. You could put a truck on it, and you couldn't move it. The only way to alleviate it is to take the head off the cylinder to get the oil out. And you better be careful where you're standing when you start taking the head off of it, because it'll come out of there. It's got a lot of pressure.
Sure.
If you hit you in the face, it could blind you, or it could take a piece of your skin off.
Right.
So you've got to make damn sure you know where you're standing when you start loosening it up. The only thing that this one has, these are Hamilton standard propellers. They're made here in Connecticut. And the state of Connecticut did a lot of input to the war effort. The Corvair was built down in Stratford, and the Pratt Whitney engines, the Hamilton standard propellers, the self-sealing gas tanks, Naugatuck, parachutes from Manchester. The P-47 too was built down in Stratford someplace. But there was a lot of stuff come out of Connecticut. Naugatuck was the one that built the self-sealing gas tanks. And believe me, it worked. Because I've had it, I know what I'm talking about. I'd had them hit.
And how many gunners did you have?
Did you make it through?
My crew had 9. Most of the time there were 10.
Now, wouldn't he freeze in there?
No, he had a heated suit and a felt.
Okay.
The leather with the felt inside.
So each man would have a different angle and a different area to cover?
Oh yeah.
From side to front
yeah.
to bottom?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go Monte, did Peter make it through?
It had 13 guns on it.
Peter make it through?
Wow, these are the bullets.
That's the 50 calibers.
Yeah.
They are a ball, just lead, armor piercing. This one shatters, it hits it and it breaks.
Yep. Yeah.
And this could be a tracer, and then it would start over again. It would be
So they all repeated in
yeah.
4 different
But
ones.
anyway,
Yeah.
I never used a tracer because the phosphorus burns the barrel of the gun, and pretty soon the rifling in the side of the 50 caliber would start to diminish, and the bullet come out, it would start wobbling all over the place, and it wouldn't go where you wanted it to go. So I never used a tracer.
Now, after a mission, would they reuse these?
No.
No, just have all new ones made.
They-
They wouldn't reload them or repack
Oh
them?
no,
or
no, no, no.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
They did after the war. They used to take the casings and reload them and do it all over again. Put a new cap in it.
Right?
Put the little cap in there
Sure.
and make it to fire it. But during the war, they didn't.
Too much.
See, the turret, that bottom turret, when he fired the guns, the shells fell out.
Okay.
And when I fired the guns, the shells fell on the floor. My turret only carried 280 rounds per gun, 560 shots.
Wow.
And after that, it was all over. So you never fired a long burst. You 4 or 5, 3 or 4, 4 or 5, something like that. And because when the fighter plane is coming in on you, he's only got a couple of seconds to shoot, and you only got a couple of seconds to shoot.
Sure.
So,
Amazing.
and I knew how far this thing would go out. And when he started to turn, I have to tell you, I didn't see a lot of fighter planes because the P-51s had just about eliminated the Luftwaffe by the time I got over there. I saw a few, but they would make a pass and they would go because the P-51s would come after him. So when he started to turn in, I knew exactly how far out he was, and I used to start to shoot, and I'd fire a few bursts in front of him, and usually he would run into it.
Yep. Yep.
And I'd see the pieces come off, and I know I was getting them. And the first thing you know, he'd turn off and he'd go somewhere else because he didn't want to get nailed. So
Blown out of the air.